Welcome back. We continue with Business English vocabulary. So, the keywords for today are crisis management and corporate resilience, some idiom, phrases, jargon, as we have done last time. Then, emotional intelligence or EQ, and vocabulary related to negotiation techniques or tactics and persuasion. So, what is crisis management and corporate resilience, and why do we need the right vocabulary? So, this vocabulary set is essential for communicating shifts and direction and overhauls of structure or process in the face of market disruption or competitive threats. These are widely used by leaders, consultants, employees, and project teams when navigating times of great shift or upheavals in the industry. Let's look at the slide here, key vocabulary and their meanings. First, crisis management. This is the process of preparing for, responding to, and recovering from a major disruptive event. Second, business continuity. This means ensuring ongoing operations during and after a crisis, minimizing negative impact. Next, corporate resilience. This means an organization's ability to anticipate, adapt, and rapidly recover from disruptions. Next, operational flexibility. This means the capacity to quickly adapt business processes or structures in response to change. Next, stakeholder communication. This means transparent interactions with employees, customers, and partners during disruptions. Downtime. This is a period during which business operations are halted due to a crisis situation. Next, incident response. This means the immediate action taken to address the beginning or escalation of a disruptive event. Next, emergency operations. This means execution of critical tasks and functions when normal operations are disrupted. Restore confidence means efforts are made to rebuild trust among stakeholders following a crisis. And the last one here, reputation management. This means the ongoing process of safeguarding and restoring public trust and organizational image after a crisis. So, reputation management has become a very important feature of all, especially very major and very important kinds of companies and organizations. Let's look at some examples. First, the leadership team moved quickly into crisis management mode after the data breach. Next, the business continuity plan kept operations running during the citywide blackout. Next, corporate resilience helped the company bounce back stronger after the market crash. Next, operational flexibility allowed the factory to shift production to meet urgent demand. Next, clear stakeholder communication was crucial throughout the merger process. Next, the website faced nearly 2 hours of downtime during the software update. Next, the IT team began incident response as soon as they detected the security threat. Next, emergency operations were activated when the storm hit the coastal warehouse. Next, the CEO's public statement helped restore confidence among customers. Next, they brought in a PR firm to handle reputation management after the controversy. So, these are some of the ways in which you can use these very specialized, very specific kind of vocabulary in your sentences. Let's look at the next slide, common idioms and expressions related to business English. To weather the storm, which means to endure and successfully navigate a period of crisis or adversity. This is a common term which You can use in other situations also, but also in business English. So they are not business English communication is specific, but they have a very a broad range. They can be used in various other kinds of situations and setups also, but we can use them in business English communication as well. Next, back on track, which means returning to normal operations after a disruptive event. Next, rise to the challenge, which means meeting and overcoming difficult, unexpected situations. Tip of the iceberg, which means only the visible part of a larger, deeper problem. Next, sink or swim, which means forced to succeed or fail without outside help when faced with a crisis. Next, at your wits' end, meaning feeling desperate or unsure about what to do next in a crisis. Next, pull through, which means to survive or recover from a difficult situation. Next, ride it out, which means to endure a period of difficulty until it passes. Next, bounce back, which means to recover quickly from a challenging event or crisis. We'll talk about phrases and jargon, which means we'll talk about phrases and jargon, and let's start with the first one. Take a look at it at the slide. Action plan, which means a detailed strategy outlining steps to resolve a crisis. Next, knock on effect, which means secondary consequences resulting from the initial crisis event. Next, crisis communication plan, which is a structured approach to stakeholders' messaging during emergencies. Next, plan B, an alternative course of action if the initial strategy fails. Next one, information flow, which means control and distribution of vital details during a crisis. Next term, risk assessment. It means a systematic process of identifying and evaluating risks before or during a crisis. Next, business resilience plan, which means a comprehensive strategy to sustain operations and adapt to disruptions. Next, redundancy, which means building extra capacity of backup systems to ensure continuity if key assets fail. Next, stress test, which means assessment of the business's ability to withstand adverse events. Next, scenario planning, which means preparing for multiple potential crisis scenarios. And the last one here, restore operations, which means the process of resuming full business functions after a disruption. Let's do this exercise, fill in the blank, and choose the best word or expressions to complete each sentence. A strong dash helps a company continue functioning despite disruptions. B. The dash team met immediately after the fire was reported. C. We need a dash in case our first approach doesn't work. D. After the incident, our focus shifted to dash to rebuild stakeholders' trust. And here are your answers. A. Business continuity. B. Crisis management. C. Contingency plan. D. Restoring confidence. Let's move on to do another exercise, which is idioms in context. So here you have to select the correct idiom from the list for each situation. Weather the storm, back on track, sink or swim, bounce back. A. After losing a major client, our sales team managed to dash and exceed last quarter's results. B. When the data breach happened, the IT department had to dash. C. Thanks to their planning, The logistics team was able to get dash just a week after the flood. D. Despite negative headlines, the company managed to dash and maintain customer loyalty. Here are the answers. A. Bounce back. B. Sink or swim. C. Back on track. D. Weather the storm. So I hope you have been doing well so far. We'll continue. And here you have an exercise for sentence correction. So considering whatever you have learned so far, you have to write what is wrong with the sentences below. A. A recovery strategy only focuses on redundancy, not on business continuity. B. To deal with the shortage, we need a plan C. C. With crisis communications, we ignore our stakeholders. So, answer should be A. The recovery strategy should focus on both redundancy and business continuity. The correct term is plan B and not C. So, what do we say? To deal with the shortage, we used a plan B. And then, last one, crisis communications are specifically designed to inform and engage with stakeholders. Now, let's talk about what is emotional intelligence or EQ. So, EQ refers to the ability to recognize, understand, manage, and effectively express one's own emotions, as well as engage and navigate the emotions of others as well. The vocabulary of emotional intelligence is commonly used in a range of professional contexts, including performance reviews, leadership coaching, teamwork and collaboration, customer service, negotiation, and change management. It is also used when giving constructive feedback, engaging in difficult conversations, and supporting colleagues through challenges. So, this emotional intelligence does not mean that we have to combat or to confront someone who is aggressive. We have to be more aggressive. What it means is how, in what ways should we be able to successfully, positively navigate around that situation. Let's look at some key vocabulary and their meanings, so, which is related to emotional intelligence. So, self awareness. This means understanding your own emotions, strengths, weaknesses, and how they affect others. Self regulation, which means managing impulses and emotions, especially under stress or provocation. Empathy, which means sensing, understanding, and responding to others' feelings and viewpoints. Next, emotional agility, which means adapting emotional responses based on changing workplace circumstances. Next, emotional awareness, which means recognizing emotions in oneself and others as they emerge. Next, conflict resolution, which means handling disagreements constructively and with respect for all perspectives. Next, active listening, which means giving full attention, acknowledging, and thoughtfully responding to others. Next, relationship building, which means creating trust and rapport through respectful, authentic, and supportive interactions. Let's look at some examples now. By practicing self awareness, Maria realized that her stress was affecting her communication with the team. Next, even during the tense board meeting, Alex demonstrated self regulation and responded calmly to criticism. Next, showing empathy, the manager listened carefully to the employee's concerns and offered support. Next, facing sudden changes, the leader used emotional agility to shift her approach and keep the team engaged. Next, emotional awareness helped Sophia recognize growing frustration among colleagues before it became a problem. Next, the HR director led a successful conflict resolution session that help both parties find a workable solution. Next, during the feedback session, Tom's active listening made his colleagues feel truly heard and respected. Next, due to her regularly checking in and offering encouragement, Jane was considered skilled at relationship building. Um, there are some phrases also that you should be aware of. For example, when you tell something like "I appreciate you" or "I appreciate your work," what does it mean? It expresses recognition and gratitude for effort or contribution or any kind of support. Uh, Another expression is uh, that you know that enables uh, a greater kind of uh, a sense of respect towards our colleagues is to say or to tell them, "I hear you, I'm listening." It shows that you are attentive to them, it open to their perspective. uh, it is also a good idea to say, "What can I do to help?" which means to offer support and demonstrate a willingness to share responsibility. We can also, let's assume there is a situation where there is a conflict and lot of um, heated words are exchanged in a meeting. So it's a good way to calm down people and keep the temperatures down would be, let's take a break and revisit this later. It suggests pausing during difficult discussions and use that time for reflection and emotional management. Another expression that you can use is, "I'm sorry for what I did and I understand how it affected you." This means have the courage to take accountability and demonstrate empathy in professional setups. Um, we all often say, "Tell me more, what are your thoughts?" That means prompt open dialogue and invite others to share feelings or opinions. It is very important in business setups, in any kind of workplace environment or environment to come in as send out a suggestion that you or send out a signal that you're open to a variety of thoughts and you are willing to listen to others. "I trust you." This is another expression that should be used more often. It means communicate confidence in colleagues' integrity or abilities to foster psychological safety. Now let's look at this slide. This is high EQ idioms and expressions. Read the room. It means observe and interpret group emotions before speaking or acting. Lead by example, which means demonstrate positive emotional behaviors for others to emulate. Keep a cool head, which means stay calm and composed under pressure or criticism. Wear your heart on your sleeve. That means be open and authentic about feelings when appropriate to the setting. Let's put ourselves in their shoes. That means encourage empathetic perspective taking before deciding or responding. Now, let's fill in the blanks. Here is an exercise for you. Complete each sentence using the most suitable EQ term from the list. And the words in this list or included in this list are self-awareness, motivation, emotional awareness, social skills, emotional agility. A. Dash helps you notice your own emotional reactions in the moment. B. Effective leaders use their dash to adapt to changing workplace situations. C. With strong dash, you can build rapport and collaborate effectively. D. Practicing dash means understanding how your how your feelings impact others. And here are the answers. Emotional awareness. B. Emotional agility. C. Social skills. And D. Self awareness. Now take a moment and apply and see that your answers match the blanks and whatever you have written. Next, we move on to another exercise. Here, you have to sort the idioms by its purpose, indicate which idioms are focused on empathy, self E, that is self control, composure C, or authenticity A. A. Keep a cool head. B. Read the room. C. Wear your heart on your sleeve. D. Let's put ourselves in their shoes. Answer A. Keep a cool head. C. B. Read the room. E. So you have to apply or use a letter for your answer. So a capital, a small alphabet and a capital alphabet. I hope you understand what the question is. So read the room. E. Where the the third answer is C. Wear your heart on your sleeve, and A. And then D. Let's put ourselves in their shoes, and this is E. Let's move on to do this exercise. Each sentence here uses EQ language incorrectly. Rewrite the sentence correctly. So you have to do some error correction. A. I always wear my heart on my sleeve in budget meetings even when it's not appropriate. B. Conflict resolution means making sure my opinion prevails. C. Active listening is about waiting for your turn to talk. An answer? I turn to be open about my feelings when appropriate, but I am mindful of the setting. B. Conflict resolution is about finding a respectful, constructive solution for all parties. C. Active listening is about giving full attention and thoughtfully responding. So, active listening is about waiting for your turn to talk? No. Active listening is about giving full attention and thoughtfully responding. So, what we try to do in this exercise is to fine tune your understanding of vocabulary related to EQ. So, if even if there is some kind of ambiguity, I hope this exercise helped you to to clarify things. We move on to talk about negotiation tactics and persuasion. So these are essential tools in the world of business where professionals regularly engage in high stakes conversations about contracts, partnerships, salaries, sales, strategic alliances, etc. So this language is used not only at the negotiating table but also throughout the preparatory process as teams establish objectives, identify leverage, and frame their best alternatives. They are also used in proposals, emails, presentations, and live discussions to drive toward mutually beneficial outcomes. Let's look at the key vocabulary here. So, BATNA, the best alternative to a negotiated agreement, the best course of action if talks fail. ZOPA, ZOPA, zone of possible agreement, the range where both parties or the interests of both parties overlap, enabling a deal. Reservation price. This means the maximum minimum a party is willing to accept before walking away from the table. Anchoring. Setting an initial reference point to influence the negotiations direction. Leverage. Any advantage or power that creates a stronger negotiating position. Next, concession. Handling disagreements constructively and with respect for all perspectives. Strawman. Introducing a weak or irrelevant proposal to divert attention or test reactions. Next, take it or leave it offer. This is a final non-negotiable proposal intended to force an immediate decision. Next, central root persuasion. This means using logical arguments and reason to encourage agreement. And anchoring bias. This means relying too heavily on the first piece of information offered. Let's look at the examples in uh, let's look at these vocabulary in sentences, and these are done as examples for your understanding. First, we decided to walk away from the deal once we realized our BATNA was stronger than their offer. Next, after several rounds of discussion, both sides identified a clear ZOPA for the contract terms. Third, she refused to sell the property below her reservation price. Next, the opening bid was so high that it ended up anchoring the rest of the negotiation. Next, they used their unique market position as leverage in the talks. Next, he made a small concession to keep the agreement moving forward. Next, the lawyer dismissed the opponent's strawman argument as irrelevant. Next, the supplier gave a take it or leave it offer with a strict deadline. Next, the board responded well to central route persuasion backed by solid data. And last one, anchoring bias led the investors to overestimate the value of the startup. Let's look at more idioms and expressions here. Let's look at the slide. To drive a hard bargain, which means to negotiate assertively to get the best possible terms. Meet halfway, which means compromise to reach a mutually acceptable agreement. Next, tip your hand, which means reveal your true intentions or strategy, often inadvertently. Next, back to the drawing board, which means reassess and restart negotiations after an impasse. Next, play hardball, which means use aggressive, unyielding negotiation tactics. And here is your another exercise, fill in the blanks using terms, these terms, BATNA, ZOPA, reservation price, anchoring, leverage, concession, strawman, take it or leave it offer, central route, persuasion, and anchoring bias. A. Knowing your dash helps you decide when to walk away from a negotiation. B. The dash is the range where a deal is possible. C. Setting a high initial price is an example of dash. D. They use their dash to convince the other party to agree quickly. E. Making a dash shows willingness to find middle ground. F. The negotiator introduced a dash issue to distract the others. G. The seller made a dash accept or reject but no further changes. H. Using detailed facts and reasoning is known as dash. I. Dash may cause people to focus too much on the first offer. J. Your dash sets the limit of what you will accept as a deal. Now take some time and try and go back to your vocabulary, the key items, the key terms that we have been doing, and please go through them and then apply those terms in the blanks here. We'll discuss the answers in a moment. And here we go. So first, A. BATNA, B. ZOPA, C. Anchoring, D. Leverage, E. Concession, F. Strawman, G. Take it or leave it offer, H. Central route persuasion, I. Anchoring bias, J. Reservation price. Let's move on to do this exercise, which requires you to complete the idioms. So fill in the blanks with the correct idiom. A. If you want the highest price, you will have to dash. B. When neither side agrees, it's time to dash. C. The manager agreed to dash and compromise on delivery dates. D. His enthusiastic reaction seemed to dash, showing our true goals. E. When negotiations stall, sometimes you must dash. Answers are here. A. Drive a hard bargain. B. Go back to the drawing board. C. Meet halfway. D. Tip our hand. And E. Play hardball. When negotiations stall, sometimes you must play hardball. Okay, so these are the ways. So if you're, I hope you're comfortable with these idioms. Perhaps some of you are still in the process of getting familiar, so please keep practicing. Please keep going back to the list that we have given. For some of you, these kinds of vocabulary and structures may be new. So the key to success here is to keep on practicing. You can review this lecture and watch it all over again, understand it better. And of course, you know that many there are several newspaper articles and also business related magazines, and if you want to improve your vocabulary, your grammar, your comprehensions, then please keep on referring to newspapers and magazine articles as well. uh, so yes, this course would be helpful to you in developing your skills, but it is also important that you put in that extra effort. So let's do some exercises now. Look at this slide, and your activity now is to find the meanings of the underlined words. So I start. The importance of effective communication and negotiation in today's business environment cannot be overstated. As organizations navigate the complexities of technological advancements and shifting market dynamics, the ability to communicate clearly and negotiate effectively has become a cornerstone of success. Notably, this rings true in highly regulated private and public industries where collaboration, understanding, and mutual benefit are essential. As a result, great leaders and mentors provide invaluable insights into navigating these complexities more effectively and successfully. A key negotiation strategy is to aim for outcomes that satisfy all parties involved. In business, this means moving away from zero-sum thinking and instead striving for solutions that provide mutual benefits. By focusing on the interests behind the positions rather than the positions themselves, negotiators can uncover effective solutions that address the underlying needs of all stakeholders. This approach resolves conflicts and helps establish long-term relationship built on trust and mutual respect. As always, the source for this excerpt or extract is given for your reference. You can look up the entire passage or entire essay. So now the words for which you have to find meanings are overstate, navigate, cornerstone, rings true, and zero-sum thinking. At the same time, if there are other words whose meanings are not very clear, please try to look up those words as well and try to add these words to your repertoire. Here are the answers. Overstate means to exaggerate. I do not exaggerate or do not overstate. You are overstating things. So that means you are exaggerating things. Navigate is to move on or to move around something. So it comes from the way ships would, in olden times, ships would navigate around the world. So move around. So now we navigate around some topics, some deals, etc. Cornerstone is something of great importance and rings true, something that sounds authentic. uh, the premise that or the proposition that we are talking about rings true in many ways. Zero sum thinking, add this very interesting and important expression to your corpus of vocabulary. This is a mindset where people believe that for one person to win, another must lose. This has become extremely popular in contemporary workplace culture. Zero sum thinking. We move on. Another exercise for you, fill in the blanks using the following words: two-way, faster, turbulent, basics, rediscovering, and overlook. In a time when digital communication tools dominate our day-to-day work like never before, it is easy to dash the fundamental principles of effective communication. Yet these dash are more relevant than ever. Clear and consistent communication is needed as we manage change while maintaining strong stakeholder relationships. Dash the power of face to face interactions, active listening, and empathy can significantly enhance organizational effectiveness and dash a more collaborative and understanding environment. Private and public sector leaders must prioritize communication as a critical strategy component, especially as they experience dash, change, and transformation. This involves disseminating information and ensuring a dash flow of dialogue with the opportunity to ask clarifying questions. The source is given below for your reference. Use these words and fill in the blanks. Here are your answers. So, the first blank is overlook, second is basics, third rediscovering, fourth foster, fifth turbulent, and the last one two-way flow of dialogue. Next exercise. Fill in the blanks using the following words: disruption, domino effect, data breach, stakeholder standstill. The title: Why Every Business Needs a Crisis Management Plan. Potential crisis can cause a dash of challenges that can affect your entire supply chain and stakeholders outside of your organization. Let's consider a clothing retailer. For example, if a supplier within its supply chain faces a dash, the retailer's production may come to a dash. Consequently, the retailer's ability to meet customer demands would be compromised, impacting customer satisfaction and its financial performance. This illustrates how a crisis situation's impacts can damage a brand's image as well as client and dash loyalty. Not having a crisis management plan in place can also reduce employees' trust in management. Imagine a legal company facing the unfortunate incident of a dash of highly sensitive client information. They don't have a crisis and management team, so once the cyber attack is discovered, employees don't know which leader to turn to during the crisis situation. Here are your answers: domino effect, disruption, standstill, stakeholder, and data breach. Next exercise, fill in the blanks using the following words: autonomy, holistic, precious, coordinated, underscores. Without a clear chain of command for who takes charge of crisis communication, dash crisis response time is lost. The BCI Crisis Management Report 2023 notes a trend towards centralizing crisis management approaches, which often proves more effective when paired with regional dash where needed. The importance of a solid PR and external communications strategy rises to the top of the priority list during a crisis, highlighting the need for a structured crisis management plan. The report also dashed the evolving role of technology, with a quarter of respondents now using specialized crisis management software for a more dash and data driven approach, indicating the imperative of timely and dash communication during a crisis. The longer emergency management takes, the greater risk the crisis poses to company stakeholders whose sensitive data might be compromised. This lack of preparedness can also cause employees to lose trust in their leadership, making a crisis management plan critical for guiding your lead during a crisis. Here are your answers. Without a clear chain of command for those who take charge of crisis communication, precious crisis response time is lost. Now, see, crisis is not precious, but precious response time is lost. So that's the context here. The BCI Crisis Management report notes a trend towards centralizing crisis management approaches, which often proves more effective when paired with regional autonomy. So autonomy, that is some kind of power where needed. The importance of a solid PR and external communications strategy rises to the top of the priority list during a crisis, highlighting the need for a structured crisis management plan. The report also underscores the evolving role of technology. So, underscores is highlights, with a quarter of respondents now using a specialized crisis management software for a more holistic and data-driven approach, indicating the imperative, that means importance of timely and coordinated communication during a crisis. Let's look at this exercise now. Fill in the blanks using the following words: well-being, shifts, luxury, disruption, rest, cycles, and the title is work-life balance. So fill in the blanks using the following words. From boardrooms to airports, executive calendars rarely dash between leading teams, driving strategy, and staying ahead of dash. Maintaining a healthy work-life balance can feel like an impossible goal. Yet, for senior leaders, balance isn't a dash. It's both a performance advantage and a personal necessity. But achieving it is easier said than done. Many executives find themselves trapped in dash of constant availability, measuring success by hours worked or emails answered. Technology has blurred the lines between professional and personal life, creating a world where always on has become the default mode. Over time, this pressure erodes not just dash but also leadership effectiveness. Practical strategies, mindset dash, and small yet powerful choices that help you lead with clarity without burning out. Because the goal isn't just to do more, it's to live and lead better. Here are your answers. From boardrooms to airports, executive calendars rarely rest. Between leading teams, driving strategy, and staying ahead of disruption, Maintaining a healthy work life balance can feel like an impossible goal, yet, for senior leaders, balance isn't a luxury. And I'll skip a bit, but achieving it is easier said than done. Many executives find themselves trapped in cycles of constant availability. Moving on, over time, this pressure erodes not just well being but also leadership effectiveness, practical strategies, mindset shifts, and small yet, and so on. We move on and fill in the blank using the following words: restores, purpose, renewed, sustainably, foundation, connectivity, discipline, defining. Work life balance has become one of the dash conversations in modern leadership. The rise of hybrid work, digital dash, and global collaboration has blurred the lines between professional and personal life more than ever. For executives, that line often disappears entirely. Yet, achieving balance isn't about working less, it's about living and leading more sustainably. A healthy work life balance means giving space to what dash you. Spending time with friends and family, exercising, disconnecting, or simply thinking without interruption. These moments are not distractions from leadership, they are the dash of it. Leaders who take time to care for their physical and mental health return to work with sharper focus, stronger relationships, and dash creativity. In today's fast moving world, where technology keeps us connected 24 by 7, balance has become both a personal dash and a strategic skill. It's the ability to manage your time and energy in a way that sustains performance without sacrificing health or dash. In other words, balance isn't about stepping away from work, it's about staying strong enough to stay in it. Here are your answers. Work-life balance has become one of the means one of the most important. It defines it in modern leadership that whether you are able to strike a work-life balance. The rise of hybrid work, digital connectivity. And then next, achieving balance isn't about working less, it's about living and leading more sustainably. And then a healthy work life balance means giving space to what restores you. Next is these moments are not distractions from leadership, they are the foundation of it. That means they are the cornerstones. Leaders who take time to care for their physical and mental health return to work with sharper focus, stronger relationships, and renewed creativity. And the last word, balance has become both a personal discipline and a strategic skill. It's the ability to manage your time and energy in a way that sustains performance without sacrificing health or purpose. Next one. So, here is another exercise for you. I have given you a list of useful words. Find the meanings of the words given below. First, domino effect. Second, underscores. Third, standstill. Fourth, holistic. Fifth, to blur the lines. Sixth, to burn out. Seventh, sustainably. Take a moment and try to find the meanings of these words. Here are your answers. Domino effect, which is a cumulative effect produced when one event initiates a succession of similar events. Underscores is to emphasize. Standstill, stop, halt. The work has come to a standstill. Holistic is concerned with complete systems rather than with individual parts. So, we are concerned with holistic development of our employees rather than just their professional life. So, holistic means it encompasses everything, not just individual parts. To blur the lines is to make the distinction less clear. So, in today's times, in modern times, there has been blurring of lines between your personal and professional life. To burn out, we often hear this, come across this term, expression, people burn out because of exhaustion. So, exhausted by working too hard. We often come across people who burn out at 35, which is a very young age, but they are so exhausted because they work too hard. Sustainably able to continue over a period of time. Next exercise. Now, word categories. Please change the following words to adjectives. So, these are different categories, maybe nouns, maybe verbs, and you are required to change these words into their adjectival forms. So, first, compromise, second, satisfaction, third, impacts, fourth, employee, fifth, management, sixth, response, seventh, disruption, eighth, erode, ninth, space, tenth, autonomy. Here are your answers. Compromised is compromising. Satisfaction, adjective satisfactory. Impacts, impactful. Number 4, employee, employable. Management, managerial. Sixth, response, adjective responsive. Seventh, disruption, adjective disruptive. Eighth, erode, adjective erosive. And ninth, space, adjective spatial. 10th, autonomy, adjective autonomous. Next. Now fill in the blanks using the words given below. Retention, interchangeably, empathize, encompasses, cognitive, positive, and diffuse. The topic is what is emotional intelligence, EQ. Emotional intelligence, also known as emotional quotient or EQ, is the ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in a dash way. High emotional intelligence allows us to relieve stress, communicate effectively, dash with others, and overcome challenges or dash conflict. Those with high EQ are also sensitive to the feelings and emotions of others. In the workplace, EI makes for happy workers, productive teams, and unified companies that often perform better and have higher dash. EQ differs from IQ in that it specifically refers to emotional abilities and social skills, not dash or intellectual skills. And while EQ and EI are often used dash, there is a slight difference in the meaning there too. EI stands for emotional intelligence and dash a wide range of abilities related to emotion management, but EQ is specific to measuring those abilities. The reference is given for you, and here are your answers. First, emotions in a positive way. Next, empathize with others. Next, diffuse conflict. Next, higher retention. Next, cognitive or intellectual skills. Next, EQ and EI are often used interchangeably. EI stands for emotional intelligence and encompasses a wide range of abilities related to emotion management. Next, find the antonym, that is the opposites of the following. First, management. Second, centralize. Third, compromised. Fourth, hybrid. Fifth, collaborate. Sixth, balance. Find the opposites of these words. Here are your answers. Management, mismanagement. Centralize, decentralize. Compromised, secure. Number 4, hybrid, opposite thoroughbred. Number 5, collaborate, opposite resist. Number 6, balance, opposite imbalance. Next, read the following passage carefully. A fairness myth we frequently encounter is what one of the leading decision making and negotiation scholars, Max Beserman, calls the mythical fixed pie mindset. The often incorrect assumption, also called zero sum thinking, that one person's gain has to equal another person's loss, or that there is only a finite amount of resources to go around. In some cases, this is of course true. The number of people who can win in the Olympics is finite. The number of spots available in most legislatures is fixed. And when haggling with a merchant, a lower price for you equals less money for them. But in most workplace situations, more issues are at play, allowing for creative solutions where all parties end up being better off. And the more we are stuck in the fixed pie mentality, the harder it is to spot the opportunities to expand the pie for everyone's benefit. While genuine zero sum situations are relatively rare, zero sum beliefs are not, and much research suggests that our zero sum beliefs can be limiting. In 3 studies, men's zero sum thinking increased when they were exposed to information highlighting the gains women have made in education, politics, and the workplace over the last century. This in turn increased sexism and lowered men's support for workplace policies promoting gender equity. The source of this article is given below. So, this is what you have to do based on this previous excerpt. Using a dictionary, find the meanings of the following words. This is do it yourself. First, myth. Second, haggling. Third, better off. Fourth, at play. Fifth, fixed pie mentality. And sixth, gender equity. So, thank you very much, and we'll soon meet for our next round of vocabulary. Thanks and bye bye.